Sarah. It's Sunday, so it's time for my regular video. I just want to do a quick update before I start in the tag I'm going to do. The My Writing Process tag, which is by the Bookish Pen Babe. I'm going to try to remember to throw a card up for her channel, and her link will be down below for sure, whether or not there's a card. My update with my novel so far is that I'm on page 146 of 187 on putting my edits in. Things are going a little slowly. This is a little more complex part of the edits, so I'm hoping that things will move along a little faster as I get going on it again. But I have kind of taken a hiatus from it. I've just been really stressed at work, so I was waiting on that. That about does it for how I'm doing on Gryffindale, so let's go ahead and hop into this tag. What genres do you write in? I used to only write horror, but I have recently began writing a fantasy, and I'm really enjoying it, so we will see if there's more of that to come. I'm not going to say that I won't write something. I don't know what I'm going to write because I am a pantser. What setting gets you the most productive? At my house, usually if I'm doing some sort of word sprint, that's one of my most productive times. If I can get a friend to like do word sprints with me online, or I'm doing a live stream or things like that, that is frequently when I am at my most productive. If you have multiple ideas, how do you go about picking one to start with? I don't really start with any idea exactly. I just start with like a single picture or thought or scene. So I don't really know where I'm going with things, so I don't really have that problem. Do you outline? Nope, I don't ever outline. I hate outlining. It's my least favorite thing ever. Do you start your first draft with pen, paper, typewriter, or computer? I write entirely on computer. I print things out and edit on paper, but I write entirely on computer. I type really fast, so writing in any other way is just really counterproductive for me. What do you do to get through writer's block? I actually have a whole video about that, so I'm going to throw that up in the cards. So those are some of the things I do. I like to get my space clean. I like to space out. I like to watch things that are in the same mood as whatever I'm working on, those kinds of things. Do you format your project from the beginning or worry about that later? I usually don't format to start with. Sometimes what happens is around 40,000 words where I start to hit my lull, which is my typical lull space. I will then format so that I can see the progress I've made more realistically, and I feel a little more like I've done enough that it's worth sticking with. It also makes me feel like I've made progress, even though there's no progress being made. It's just that my page numbers have gone up, but I like to do it that way. Do you edit when you go or when you finish your first draft? I edit when I'm done. I don't edit at all while I'm writing, which does make things a little complicated when I'm editing sometimes, but that's the way I do it. I have to read this one off the screen. The screen is right to my side. After you finish your drafts or manuscript, how long do you give it a break before you start going back over it? Or do you give it a break at all? Usually I go a month or two. Sometimes I go a little longer, but usually I go about a month or two. Is there something that you prefer to do to get you through writing? Playing music, TV, having your favorite drink or food? I usually watch television while I am writing. It's usually things I've already seen, so I can kind of space them out. Sometimes I watch scary movies, things like that. Like Ghost Hunters, which I can just tune out and it makes just noise, but the noise is the right tone for what I write. So that's usually what I do when I'm writing. Do you schedule your writing sessions? Not exactly. Sometimes I'll schedule writing sessions with CJ. I have scheduled live streams, which are usually writing sessions, but I also try to just kind of fit it in when I can. So yes, there are scheduled ones, but I also try to write at other times as well. Do you have a word count or chapter goals for your writing sessions? Not all the time. It kind of depends. If I'm doing nano, I use the typical nano word count unless I've already fucked it up and I have some huge word count goal, but usually I don't have like a specific word count. I don't usually have a problem hitting a certain word count if I just sit down and do it, so that's not really much of a concern for me. Are there any quirky things you do to make your projects more fun? Not really. No. 14, do you write multiple projects at one time? I do not write multiple projects at one time typically, but I do edit, write, and do other kinds of editing. I will work on more than one, but I don't usually write more than one. How often do you research what you're writing? I research as I need it. Usually I don't need a whole lot of research, but whenever I do, I just do it as I'm writing. How do you organize your projects? Usually I just name them by like the month I start them in, or like nano or whatever, because I don't name anything until way later. I have a hard time with naming books and stuff. That's probably one of my hardest things. So I typically just give it a false name, like the month I started or something. Do you reward or punish yourself for achieving or missing out on your writing goals? Not really. I use Authortube a little bit to kind of shame myself so that I have to I have someone to answer to when I don't reach my goals. But realistically, no, I don't really give myself negative consequences or anything along those lines. I just don't. Are there any works similar to your projects that you look for and use for inspiration and or comparison? No. No, How early do you wait to start looking for and hiring editors? That's written very strangely, but I don't actually have an editor right now, so that's I don't really have an answer for that. If you finish the first draft of a manuscript, tell us how you felt afterwards. Pick your favorite. If you're not through the first draft yet, tell us about the feeling at that moment. I don't know. I am really not that dramatic about this stuff. To me, it's just kind of well, that's done. I usually just want to space out for a while afterwards, but it's not this super exciting thing to me. I don't do a whole lot. If I have wine, I might have a glass of wine, that kind of thing, but it's not that big of a deal to me, really. So, and number 21 is tag someone. So who can I tag? Let me just tag anyone who's watching this, because I don't know who has time to do a tag video. And I don't want to put people up against a wall. So I'll see you guys all later. Have a wonderful week and good writing. Don't forget to like and subscribe and go to all my links down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the Bookish Pen Babe who made this tag. So I'll see you guys all later. Have a wonderful week. Good writing. Bye.